Good morning, gardeners of the prairies. It is an early June morning and the sun is shining. It's going to be nice and warm in the greenhouse today. Those solar rays are going to come in as long waves. They're going to bounce off the plants. They're going to come back as short waves, and that's what's going to create this heat in the greenhouse. That's why it's so much warmer when the sun's out than when the sun is not out, because it's also, this material that we use is 0.8 mils of rigid polycarbonate, and it has an R value of about 0.1. So it's not made for thermal retention. It's made for the conversion of those solar rays. So it is going to get hot in here, and we want to keep our plants from getting over the 28 degree mark. Once they hit about 28 degrees, their growth actually stunts, and there's little stoma on the bottom side of the leaves. There are like 1,000 little tiny mouths, and the plants will bring in water and they'll pant it out essentially through those stoma in order to cool themselves off. It's this transpiration rate. When your plant wilts, it's because it just doesn't have enough water to actually cool itself off, and that's how plants can die from heat. The other thing that happens during heat when the plants get close to that 30 degree mark is they stop using nutrients. So they'll pull in water because they're trying to survive, but they'll leave all those nutrients in the soil, which is kind of an amazing feat that they can choose that. So stop watering or stop fertilizing when it is in the mid high 20s. Just make sure you're using plain water and water a couple times a day. And the other thing that you'll want to do is find ways to reduce the amount of sunlight, the amount of heat that's coming into the greenhouse. So there's a couple ways to do that. The best way for the greenhouses that we produce is to use a shade cloth. If you have a greenhouse made out of another material, glass for example, you can use a whitewash, which is basically it's a 1 to 10 or 1 to 20 ratio of white latex paint to water, and you would just paint that on the outside of your greenhouse around this time of year, June, and throughout the season the rain etc. will wash it off. So come fall it'll all be gone. It is not recommended for use on this Tegalux polycarbonate that we use here at my own greenhouse. So the other thing that you can do is put up a shade cloth, and there's a couple different ways to do that. So here, this is actually a privacy screen material that I picked up at a local garden center, and I got some rivet clips that I just put on. You can get this stuff in long roll. You can get 100 feet of it if you want. I got a package that gave me 12 feet of coverage, which is the full length of my greenhouse, and I will put it on the outside of the greenhouse on the south side because that's where the sun's rays are coming in. I'm not worried about the north side of the greenhouse at all. So with this, I'm just going to get some rope and some, a pollinator just flew in. That was lovely. I'm going to get some rope and or some paracord or something and attach it to eye hooks that I'm going to screw into the wooden base of the greenhouse. And my municipal service is here picking up garbage. So as I said, this is a privacy screen, and it is mostly green and white, and it is a 70% sun reduction. So that's a green 70. On Amazon, sorry, I picked up a 50 black, which is this. So you can see the difference. This one came riveted, was reasonably inexpensive. So because it's only blocking 50% of the sun's rays, it will let in more sunlight than what this privacy screen will. But it will also keep the greenhouse a little warmer. So this will be more cooling, but you'll get less sunlight. More sunlight, less cooling, but a shade cloth on the outside of your greenhouse is a great way to go. Water your plants, keep the vents open, keep your back vent open, your door open. If you have a fan running, make sure it's sucking the hot air out of the greenhouse and not just moving it around as a convection oven. I learned that lesson the hard way. Learn from my lessons, please. And make sure that like I said, make sure that you're watering your plants and don't fertilize them when it's super, super hot. But when it's in the low 20s, you definitely want to fertilize because they're going to undertake a real growth spurt. So enjoy gardening.